your hands together for the Ari Lewis Show!
Welcome, everyone, to another Sports and News Radio. Thank you for joining us. At any time, you can email the program, messiahhour@gmail.com, or you can email the station Israel Sports and News Radio at gmail.com. Many of my listeners and fans of my show and fans of the station have been writing, wanting to know, where is Rabbi David Katz? And we're going to get that answer now, because on the line is Rabbi David Katz, now of Modi'in. Rabbi, how you doing out there?
Hey, Ari, it's glad to be back with you as always, and I'm definitely looking forward and ready to another new season with you, talking about Torah and the ideas we usually talk about.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll have some influence for the good, positivity. So you were recently on a world tour. Tell us a bit about some of the highlights.
So the trip started, it was a long tour. I mean, really, it was, I guess in February 25th, we moved from Sfat to Modi'in. That really did start the tour. And we moved on a Thursday. So we came into the new house, Erev Shabbos. I don't even remember how we ate. It's all a blur. And Sunday morning, I'm on an airplane to England. So I'm trying to piece it together in my brain.
Okay.
I flew to England on the way to South Africa. So I stopped in Edgware, which is a district of London, and met up with some Facebook friends in the flesh. Gave a class, kind of got my mind ready for what was to come, kicking off the tour, spreading some gear stuff, meeting some people. Then I went directly south to Cape Town. That was an amazing experience. Was in Cape Town for a solid week. More about those details later. Fly back to Modi'in, which was kind of a surprise, or a chiddush, and you say in Hebrew, because I didn't have to drive 2.5 hours home now. Now with Modi'in, I was 10 minutes away from the airport. And it was right before Purim. So figure you get into Purim, take care of just all the bills in the house, Then on an airplane again to Chicago. That was a story. The plane got, you and I were messaging a lot. You probably didn't understand so much what was going on. The plane was canceled in the end from Wednesday night until Friday morning. They didn't tell us. They put us in a hotel in Tel Aviv. Then they said that the plane won't go until Motzi Shabbos. So Motzi Shabbos, I went back home on Shabbos. Went Motzi Shabbos, fly to Chicago, where I missed half my speaking engagements because of the canceled flight. Then, after being in Chicago for a couple of days, a student of mine, which we all know and love, Morris, right? Mauricio, or you know Morris. We drove to Cleveland from Chicago. Cleveland for Shabbos, gave a class, met some people, talked about Ger in the book, fly to Montreal, meet the Montreal group of Ger. Again, more lecturing, more books, more speaking engagements. Then an airplane to Queens, meet our good friend Barney at JAP. Everybody should be checking out the lessons over in the Torah classes on JAP. It's an app for your phone. Just go to your store, your app store, and type in JAP, JAPP. Give a lecture at Barney's shul in Queens. Spend time with family and friends, meeting more people, and then a plane ride back to Tel Aviv just before Passover. Passover, the Omer. Here we are, live with the Ari Lewis Show, and just finishing up all the projects that came out of the trip. And now I'm looking forward to the second annual Ger conference in Texas coming August 18th.
So tell us a little bit about that conference. How did that conference originate? How did it begin?
The question is, are you flying over there with me, Ari Lewis?
No, I haven't left Israel in 7 years, so I'm not leaving again.
Every rabbi that deals with Noahides, at some point in his journey, he will come into contact with Texas. It just happens. So as I, co-authored the book with Chaim, the Ger movement's going. Chaim actually fundraised for the book's production and publication the previous year in Texas, in Houston, at Rod Bryant's Nativ. So that got the message out. Chaim came back a changed man. And so, he was Yotzi. He did his Texas stint. The plan was for a year later, I would go with, I guess, was a book in hand, or by that time, I think there were books by then. The book actually came out, I think, a couple months after Chaim went, that December. So I went with book in hand and launched the book, flew into Houston. We did a seminar of yeshiva study and lecturing in Houston, over to then Waco, if I remember correctly, then on to Abilene, then on to Lubbock. We really did, it was a first of its kind. It was an entire state tour of unifying Ger in Texas, all, just a straight shot across the state. And it was massively successful. I mean, really, it was an amazing, amazing time. The irony is, it was nothing. It's like, remember how, or even when everyone was big about the iPod when it first came out?
Right, they thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Right, it's pretty pathetic compared to what iPods are now, right?
I would say so.
Right, so the Texas trip was like, yay, iPod! But this world tour was like, whoa, iPad, how are you? So now going back to Texas a year later, with really having the experiences of the world tour, it's going to be iPad versus first iPod. So we're very excited about that. There's a lot of things in the cards. There's more books being published. It seems like things are coming out every day. The worldwide tour got everybody fired up. Everyone's just engaged. They're working. They're doing things. There's so many things to say. Where do you start? Now I'm getting acclimated in Modine. Just getting set up here. That's not so simple, because there's a lot of work to do. I'm kind of waiting for the time where the work will subside. I get to experience, one of all things is coming out to you in Jerusalem and checking your scene out, which we haven't had really much time to do, but it's coming. And the Texas trip is going to be really the kickoff to yet another Ger conference in Jerusalem another year later. We're focusing on the next summer in Jerusalem, summer, winter, we're not sure exactly when, but the first Jerusalem Ger World Conference.
Pretty exciting. Let me ask you, did you think 10 years ago that something like a Ger conference would be possible?
What year was that? 2006?
Yes, that was 10 years ago.
I was a bacher in yeshiva. I think I was just about engaged or close to being married at some point. I got married in November 2007, so whatever that is. I was an altar bacher in yeshiva learning. I was interested in non-Jews and Torah very lightly from the teachings of Rav Hutner. He talks about it a lot. I remember hearing about Noahides in yeshiva. I remember you probably, me and you have talked about this a little bit, Ari. Every year on Parsha has told us, what do we say? Yaakov learned in the tents of Shem, and we say, hey, tell us more about the tents of Shem. What's the answer we always get? No.
Right.
So, I was a little bit more interested than most people. I lived
by their tents.
Right by their tents. So, it was on my mind. It reached a saturation point by about 2010. And I don't think I ever told you this story, Ari. I want to tell you the quick version of this story.
Okay.
How did I get into Light of Nations? I don't know if I ever shared this with you. Man, it was a wild thing. My wife, she passed away now, but when we were together, she was an English teacher, and she went to a 3-day class field trip with her students. So I was kicked out of the house because the babysitter didn't want me in Yichud with the babysitter, right?
Okay.
So I had no home. Our washing machine was broken. The colo check didn't come. My wife is gone. It was one of those weeks where a total breakdown, right? In terms of shutdown. Like everything, the breakdown was life broke down.
Wait a second. How could a colo check not come through?
Yeah. So it was one of those weeks where I was learning really well the week before. I started learning the Nate's Minyan and the nighttime Kabbalah Seder at the Beit Knesset of Shem and Aver, speaking of which, that's why I thought of this. And I was starting to daven on Shabbos Kiddush at the cave, right? And the Kiddush in the cave after davening on Shabbos. So I was giving like Devar Torahs of Hashem. I mean, I was really kind of just in a lofty no man's land. I mean, I was just in this new, I mean, it makes sense today, but back then I was just getting into this. So I didn't go to Kollel for a couple of days. I figured if it's all unplugged, let's just unplug. So that whole week I just did reflection. I think I ended up at Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, going over my notes from just the thoughts that I was going through, Torah ideas. And Thursday night of that week, it dawned on me that I was leaving yeshiva. It was time. So I called Chaim of all people. I said, Chaim, I think I got to go. He said, no, don't burn bridges. And I didn't. So Motzi Shabbos, I'm in the Ezra's Nashim, the women's section of the shul, packing my locker. I was sitting with a good friend of mine, J.J. Peretz. And he said, he was an altar bacher too. By then I was married, and he was just an altar bacher. And he says, where are you going? And it's ironic now because it all happened. What I said was going to happen. I said, I don't know. He says, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I think I just want to be a light to nations. I remember the conversation very clearly. I said, I think Hashem has turned me into a vessel, and I feel like I want to be a light to nations. He says, what does that mean? Where are you going to go? I said, I don't know. I got a job teaching English to Muslims in Foradis in the north of Israel. I'm going to go. We're going to buy a car, and I'm going to be a light to nations. And we had this talk for like 3 hours, and in the end, he's like, I see it. I totally see you doing this. I said to him, I'm glad you see it because I don't necessarily see it. The craziest thing, Ari, is it happened. I mean, it is the craziest thing. It's like when you hear about Herzl's Zionism in his diaries, he talks about how he's going to build the state of Israel. And it's an insane message, only it happened. So it's not so insane. So this whole thing about light to nations, it's far out. It's like, based on what? But I don't know. God gave the vision from where I was in time and space, and then it just culminated into what it is today. Not long after I left Kollel in 2010 of October of 2010. By that summer, I was already into teaching Noahides. So whatever it was a real kind of being yanked out of Gehenna to be put in place to do the calling of the Eibishter.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio, joined by Rabbi David Katz, author of a couple of new books right now. Part of the tour was to promote the books, I take it?
Yeah, we actually have a couple of announcements. I guess I'll take the time to announce that now.
Sure.
We are well aware that it was annoying that the World of the Ger was not available on Amazon.com. We know that. So we, the good citizens that we are, we now have the World of the Ger available on Amazon.com. So no longer do you have to ask your friend if they know a guy who knows a guy, where do I get a copy of the World of the Ger? Amazon.com. And my new book is also available there, which is kind of, I'll give you a nice analogy, Ari. Have you ever heard of The Force Awakens?
You mean Star Wars?
Yes.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of Rogue One?
I believe so.
So Sol Mazel is to Rogue One as The Force Awakens is to the World of the Ger.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
It's the story. It's the what do you call those things? Like when you make a
parody?
Movie? No, a movie about one character.
Like a spin-off?
A spin-off.
Okay.
Yeah, like World of the Ger talks about all these different things. The Sol Mazel book is, hey, remember when we talked about Jethro and World of the Ger? Well, here's a whole story about Jethro. Hey, remember we talked about this? So it's like every parsha is a full article about one of the content ideas in World of the Ger. Because remember, World of the Ger was really taken from the Sol Mazel ideas. Right? When Chaim and I went over the book, we were drawing from Sol Mazel. But Sol Mazel took a long time to edit and develop, so World of the Ger came out first, and Sol Mazel finally reached its production date. It's the book of Genesis. The idea of Sol Mazel is the non-Jew, and this is like the early ideas of the Ger movement, so to speak. the non-Jew is spoken of in every parsha. And you say, I never saw it. If you look in the Mikros Gedolos, the major commentators, in every parsha, if you comb it, you will find a non-Jewish reference every time. Whether it's a Noahide, an Akum, a Ger, Ruth, Jethro, somewhere, somehow, a non-Jew is being spoken of in every parsha. So I combed the Chumash every week through the Mikros Gedolos, finding the real Geschmack non-Jew in there. And then we made an article really kind of encapsulating the non-Jewishness and how it relates to Jewishness of that character in the parsha. So what was it in the Shvatim and the end of Genesis? The suspicion was that the brothers were making a golem to eat a limb of a living animal. Have you ever heard about that before?
Right. That's why they. That was part of the report that Yosef gave to Yaakov, I believe.
So that's a chapter in the book. Now you understand why, right? It's
Okay.
non-Jewish. It's Noahide law. Okay. Then another one is Jethro. Obviously, Parsha's Jethro. Every Parsha. So then we did it for all 5 books of the Chumash. At least the Genesis book is out and on Amazon. And look, over the next couple months, every book, after every couple months, so 2 months, 3 months at a time, another part of the Chumash will come out until it's a set of all 5 books. So that's common. The World of the Ger on tablet or Kindle is available on Amazon. The Sol Mazel book's available on Kindle. We're translating 2 Vilna Gaon books this year. I just finished yesterday my translation, you probably like this, of Evan Shlema, the Vilna Gaon's concise book of ethics and Musar and wisdom. That is fully translated by me, and it will be available in book form on Amazon, God willing, soon. Like I said, I just finished my translation part. Now we got to put it in production. Vilna Gaon Zionism will be finished translated at the end of the year. That'll be out. World of the Ger exists in Spanish. That is on Amazon in Kindle and paperback edition. Path of the Righteous Gentile, Chaim's first book on Noahide, the first Noahide book really ever written to a certain quality, will be republished or whatever it is, reissued on Amazon. Reissued on Amazon.com. Updated with just some little highlights from Chaim. So we now have really established what we call a Ger genre, a type of genre of Torah. It's in Hebrewish. It's English based on Hebrew. The goal of the genre, the Ger genre, is we not Chaim, more of my take on it, is I've thrown away syntax. We don't speak in syntax. We speak in Torah jive. Anyone that knows Yeshivish knows there's no syntax in Yeshivish. The goal is to articulate the wisdom of the Torah in a way that people can still understand it through the English language. But it's not the English of Harvard or Oxford, right? It's just street talk, but a high-level street talk. In fact, when you read it, it just sounds like Rabbi Katz is talking to you like right now. Because as I hear it in my head, I write it. That's the style. That's the Ger genre. The idea is to understand the wisdom of the Torah, and those are the kind of books that are coming out. And really, at the end of within a year from now, you could have northward of 10 books or more already in this new genre coming out for the nations.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio, joined by Rabbi David Katz. So do you imagine that more and more books will be written maybe in copycat form, or will there be new ideas being introduced?
You know my style with you, Ari Lewis. I'm going to change the direction completely.
Okay.
Yes, Ari, we're launching, God willing, a new yeshiva, which that's actually the answer to your question. It's not just copycat. We're hoping, the goal is to get an online yeshiva built. We're in the negotiations of it now. If it's secure, what it'll have is the opportunity to give content to every type of universal message type people. It's a huge umbrella. What it is it's taking the Torah as we know it and combing it for the universal aspects. So I'll give you a quick quiz. Ari, would you expect to find Pirkei Avos in that universal message?
Yeah, I think so.
So we could have an updated, elucidated Ger content, like as in when there's Ger elements in Pirkei Avos, which they are there, highlight them. The universal aspects, just highlight it. But basically a new edition of translated universal message theme oriented blah 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 of Pirkei Avos. Would we find the status quo of how to tie your right shoe first in my yeshiva?
Probably not.
No. You have many yeshivas already existing for that. They're very great at what they do, but that's just not my tafkid. Our goal is to bring the innate universal message of Torah to the nations and Jews that want the universal message. For example, Ger already exists in Torah. You just never saw it because there's a lot of things that you never saw. Many people believe that they have seen everything. You haven't. It's just the way it is. When you look in the Mikros Gedolos every week, when you open up books you never thought to open up and look, I can name off my bookshelf right now. Let's go with a quick quiz. Ready, Ari?
Yeah, let's do it.
Kind of like speak for the listener out there, not just you. How many of you have listened or read through the Mikros Gedolos of Nach?
I have not.
How many of you have learned the Iyun style of learning of Midrash Rabbah?
I think I have to some degree.
Some degree. How many have read through learning the entire Tanakh with the Concordancia?
I haven't done that.
How many of you... Okay, so there's a lot of endless things that you've never done.
Right.
In Yeshiva, you've learned Bava Kama, Sanhedrin, Brachas, Mishnah Berurah, Parsha Shavua, and a couple random halachas here. And it looks like you've learned it all. It's a crazy thing. But when you get into the vast scope of works, Torah is a lifelong endeavor. Our mission is to deliver the innate universal message that is already there. We just never thought to dig it out and deliver it. We only thought to deliver Chetzi Nezik Nas Rishus Rabim in the Bava Kama Sugyas. Every year, the yeshivas just learn Bava Kama. They learn Parsha Shavua with Rashi. Did you ever learn the Balatorim? Did you ever learn all the Mikros Gedolos? Did you ever learn Targum Yonason? There's many infinite things to do. Our function is to just go into those areas and make them available for those that want universal Torah. Now, the other thing is, I can't do it alone, even though you probably think I can. but I can't. So I'm going to commission Ari to help me. In truth, where the goal would be to get rabbis that understand the concept. It's not a matter of you have to do what I say. It's just a concept. I mean, Ari Lewis, for all those listening, he has the concept. I don't have to twist Ari's arm and be like, hey, Ari, I'm in a universal Torah, so when I say universal, I'll give you the wink. You say, okay. I don't have to do that. So there's a lot of guys like Ari out there. A lot. But they don't have a platform to operate this message under. Because every yeshiva wants to know, can you learn? Can you do Bava Kama? Okay, a lot of guys can, Baruch Hashem. But there's a huge Torah, and a lot of guys that want to learn it and teach it and spread it. This would give like a subcontract ability to bring guys in to commission projects. Hey, Rabbi Goldstein, there's a group in Zimbabwe, these Gerim. They want to learn Shmiras HaLashon. Can you give a couple of shirim of Geschmack stuff in Shmiras HaLashon? All right, what do you think? Would that be a good subcontracted project for a Kolo guy who understands universal Torah? Would that constitute this whole idea of delivering universal Torah to the nations?
I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah, a couple of times okay. Shmiras HaLashon, that's universal.
Yeah. I think he's pretty well accepted.
There you go. So there's endless of that. Endless. That's the goal and mission. Going on these world tours, creating interest in this genre, and God willing, from the results that we've seen, the high numbers on the Ari Lewis show, we're well on our way.
All right. Well, how come it's taken this long? Is this because we get closer to Mashiach that these things will come out more? I mean, what would be your take on it?
Because we're literally building the genre and infrastructure from scratch. You're looking at a playground of Torah where it is illegal to learn Tanakh in I'll say most Orthodox yeshivas. Not us or forbidden, but it's like no one does it. You wouldn't say, hey, I'm learning about a common this mind. What are you learning? I'm learning Sefer Shmuel. No one does that. Right? Maybe in Dati Lumi, but I'm talking like American Haredi, not happening. Israeli Haredi, not happening. Sephardim, a little more than Ashkenazim, but that's just one example. Again, look, I'll just look through my collection of books here. Kabbalah is largely untouched by the yeshivas. The greater works of the Rambam, outside of the one portion of Mishnah Torah that you've learned. The Rishonim in general. How many people are even learning the Rishonim? Who learns the Rush on a Sugya? Then comparing with the Ramban, Tosfos, Rashi, the Torah, Shulchan Aruch, Taz, Magen Avraham, Mishnah Berurah, commentaries. Are you learning out that vast? Most people not. You're Yotzi with the Mishnah Berurah. Why not the commentaries on the Mishnah Berurah? Don't have time. I'll learn Rashi in the Chumash. Do you look up the Rashis? When he gives you the source to look up, are you looking them up? Well, so you don't really know it. Well, are you relying on Art Scroll? Well, so there's a lot of that going on. What I really want to do, let's just say, let's pretend Art Scroll has done it, but they've done it in English, which is a skewed translation, which gives you, I'll be kind and say 65% of the pshat. Because it's in English, you're not focusing anyways on the Hebrew. Our job is to then go and give the universal message with proper infrastructure, but on aiming for 100% comprehension rate. If we can even get anything just going for the 100%, that's the goal. So we have to create all new technology, all new platform, all new style. It's all new. And we're not coming out as the newest Breslov organization to teach Universal Torah, the newest Chabad. It's new. It's only new in terms of the technology and the infrastructure. The Chiddush is none of it's new. It's ancient Torah. It's the classic Torah, collecting dust in every yeshiva, just that nobody thought to teach it. And that's what we're doing. We're teaching the interesting dust-collected Torahs that requires building a brand new infrastructure spearheaded by the Ari Lewis radio show.
No pressure for me. Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio, joined by Rabbi David Katz. So, Rabbi, how do you think the religious landscape will change and the landscape in general will change with all these things coming to fruition?
So this is what Chaim was telling me about. Chaim told me tonight, he said, no one's going to get this. It's going against Orthodox Judaism. When I say against, I don't mean like it's wrong. It's what against means. If I go to a yeshiva and they say, hey, Dave, what do you want to learn? And I say, hey, Bava Kama. Ari, will anybody say, what? Or they say, okay.
No, they would say, okay.
If I go in and say, I want to learn the laws of Paraduma.
They probably think you're nuts.
Right. Now, but it's not usher, right? It's okay. They would find a guy for me, would they not?
Yeah, it's part of Torah.
Yeah. I said, look, I really want to hear about the laws of the red heifer. Okay, look, see that guy over there? He's the eccentric Nanak guy. Go talk to him. He'll teach you. I mean, it's not usher. It's not forbidden. It's just not. It's not the diet of yeshivas or of Orthodox diet. Now, what is the number one complaint of Orthodox Jews? We have a malnutritious diet. I mean, this is the fight inside Orthodoxy, right? Are we allowed to have TVs in the home? Can we use the internet? Should we learn Tanakh? Is religious Zionism kosher? There's a lot of issues. And based on those issues, it's determined what is better to learn or not better to learn. The Haredim won't learn Rav Kook because Rav Kook was a proponent of Zionism. Ari, is it wrong to learn Rav Kook?
I don't think so.
No, no one would. If you push them on the limit, no one will say he's treif. No one. But are the Haredim looking to learn Rav Kook? Absolutely not. They'll say, yeah, he was into Zionism. Now, will a Lubavitcher learn Breslov? Probably not. Will a Breslover learn Lubavitch? Probably not. This is Judaism. So the conflict that we're having is that when you learn Ger, Rebbe Nachman, for example, was one of the greatest Ger minds ever. So was the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So was the Chafetz Chaim. So was Rebbe Akiva. So was the halachist in Barapak. It's all through Torah. So you're really bringing Achdus and Ahavas Yisrael by showing the Torah is true in every sector, but you still have the ghetto mentality. Can we do that? If the Sephardim eat kitnius and the Ashkenazim don't, can we do that? So it's not usher to eat kitnius if you are Sephardi, but it creates a great divide in Judaism when we bring those details to attention. Now, the kitnius thing is controversial. One day Rosh Hashanah is controversial. Allowing a Noahide to exist is not controversial. What it does is it represents an incomplete view in every pocket of the Torah. Because let's say the Lubavitcher Rebbe spoke about it, but he didn't speak about it like Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Nachman spoke about it, but not like the Chavetz Chaim. When you put the views together, you see one view of this type of genre, the non-Jew in Torah. If you stay in your shtetl, you will only see one small view. Each shtetl has enlightened men that saw the whole view. If you get into Chabad teachings, there are teachings of the Rebbe, and those in Chabad, for example, Rabbi Garlitsky of Crown Heights, saw the whole thing. Now, this is the classic problem. How many Talmidim understand the message of the Rebbe? I mean, of every Rebbe of every genre. So it's only a bit, kind of like, what is this? Because it's digging up very deep lumdus and putting it into people's lives when they're not used to that kind of lumdus being in their lives. They've just never heard of it. There's many things we hear in yeshiva that we just never heard of before. So I would say from my world tour, when you hear the message from me and you hear it from right from my mouth rather than what he said, she said, it makes sense. When people repeat it in a broken fashion, it's like the telephone game. It's hard to put it together. And then it can sound, I don't know. But you hear it from me, it makes sense. When you hear it from Chaim, it makes sense. On my tour, I got one consistent, very good feedback. Not one person on any of the tours said this is wrong. Nobody. You need to know that. Everybody was 100% supportive and interested. Their only complaint was, what next? Okay, Rabbi Katz, you're right. Now what? Everyone's complaint was a challenge to say, now what? Okay, you're right. What are you going to do? So out of that framework, what people thought is the best thing to do, this is not my opinion, it's their opinion. One of the reasons why we're stuck is because of Art Scroll. They do great work. But pre-World War II, you were learning in the original, and you didn't need a translation. Ger was known basically by everybody that learned pre-World War II. Post-World War II, we have become very reliant on Art Scroll. And Art Scroll has, for better or for worse, made a translation of Ger as convert. If Art Scroll would fix that translation, it could probably seal the whole deal in terms of redeeming many sparks. So a lot of people, big Rabbanim in America, is trying to inspire me to contact Art Scroll to get them to fix the translation of the word Ger. I don't know if that's where I want to go. It might go there, but to answer your question a long-winded way, Ari, if one of those kind of things broke through, Art Scroll changing its tone, the chief rabbi poskening Ger Toshav, who I sit next to, by the way, every Shabbos, davening with him, Rabbi Lau. I've already started talking to him about it. You never know. Eventually, someone's going to see the burning need for this message to get out, and it has the power to really change the world.
Is that your approach? Do you think the approach of the Ger movement when dealing with quote-unquote criticism is just to say you're not hearing all the words, you're not hearing the entire message directly?
It's a fact. Not one person in 5 or 6 years of this message has ever even come close to challenging any of the sources. And there are the naysayers out there who will say, well, you're not addressing any issue. Right? The real issue is look inside, look in the Hebrew, use some shmekelka and some chachma, and you will see there's no machlokis in Ger. None. They'll say, but the Jubilee. You don't understand that Rambam. It's chapter 14, halacha 7 and 8, and Asuri B of the Rambam. That Ger Toshav is an Evid Kanani. It is not a Noahide. Then there are many Rishonim that talk about not one person that was a Rishon with a relation with the Rambam or the Achronim holds that the Rambam thinks there is no such thing as a Ger Toshav today. It is only this English kind of weird world that we're in with agendas that just don't want it. When I say agenda, it doesn't have to be vicious. It's like we don't have a culture for it. The hard thing is we're building a taste for it, a culture. The path in Torah is called Ksat Gerus. We haven't had it. It's the 1A version of conversion, but when we're being killed in the shtetls, you're not making Ksat Gerus. It's either get on our side or go away. But that's not how it is now. So the pushback is only like, well, a non-Jew can't keep Shabbos. Well, duh, we know that. Did you read Krisis 9a? The non-Jew breaks Shabbos. No one says they keep it like a Jew. So when the pushback comes, it's a knee-jerk reaction, which means they didn't look inside, they didn't hear it correctly, and they're already wrong before they even open their mouths, because I can hear where they're going wrong. You know, it's like, so you're saying we should intermingle with the non-Jews? No, I never said that. Are you saying we should do this? But no one said that. My message is just quoting the sources for non-Jews that are in our Torah, and it is our mission to do so, to be a light to nations.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio. My guest is Rabbi David Katz. So do you feel as time goes on, then Ger movement will become more of a mainstream movement?
It's going to be a success. I mean, I know that for a fact. How it's going to look? I mean, it'll be a mainstream success. I don't know how we get to where we are, to where we're going to be. We are not fringe. We actually are mainstream. We represent the majority view in the Torah. Where we're weak is that there is a minority of Jews that know the truth on that level. It's like, you know, you and I have discussed radio wisdom a lot, right?
Yeah, I think so. I would say so.
Would you call yourself even an expert in radio?
Well, that would make me sound kind of arrogant.
I mean, but you have confidence.
Yes, most of the time.
So let's go and make a poll out of 50 radio type people that you could justify mingling with at a party, right?
Okay.
What are the percentages of those people knowing the truth versus not, according to you?
I figure they would know the truth if they're the top 50.
No, not the top.
Oh, just 50 regular.
50 people that just pluck them out from 50 places, throw them in a room, right? You're going to mingle with them. Give me a percentage of people that really know the real deal, what's going on.
5%.
We're in a room of 50 personalities talking sports.
Okay.
Not like the best. Just, right?
Yeah.
Give me a percentage. How many of them know what's going to be going on tomorrow night in the game?
Maybe 10%, 5 to 10%.
That's how it is in every single genre of wisdom, Ari.
Right.
You're not unique in that regard. So too in Torah. How of people that are indigenous to a certain I hate to overuse the word genre, but it's called a genre, right? How many of them are going to really know what's going on? I want all of you right now listening to think about a genre that you are very confident in and you have wisdom in. Everyone got it, right? Let's say it's whatever it is. All right, just give me another thing that you like MMA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you know about do you have a head on your shoulders for that?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say an expert.
But you have a head. You have a head on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Have you spoken with people in your social life about that kind of interest?
Sure. Yeah.
What are the percentage of people that actually know what's going on?
Next to nothing.
There you go. It's I used to think that I was a good wrestler. I was garbage, because now I belong to my favorite website, flowwrestling.org. It's the fan site for wrestling, like college NCAA wrestling. And now that I'm 38 as of yesterday, thank you, Ari, for posting on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And I'm appreciating the sport of wrestling, because I now have given up my dreams of Olympic gold, And I can now be a fan. I love the sport of wrestling because there's so much wisdom. And I look back when I was 16, 17, that kid that I was knew nothing. Zero. So imagine every conversation I would have gotten into. Oh, yeah, I could have done. That kid knew nothing. I'm not even saying I know now. I now know what I don't know. And so every single thing has that. Everything. Whatever it is, web design, banking, lawyer, whatever it is. There's, you know, I had a friend who was into NASCAR. And I said, I don't get it. Why does like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson win every year? And then there's always that guy at the back of the pack, like, well, we lapped, you know, enter, you know, middle American name here, right? He said, is it any different in basketball or football or baseball?
Right. It's only the few that win.
That's it. You got the 3 top teams. Everybody else is pretty much playing for last. So that's how it is in everything. There's Mercedes and a couple of good cars. Everything else is second rate.
Right.
The trick is you out there, you are Mercedes at one of the things that you do. That's part of the thing I teach in my Mazel work. I don't buy into this, well, I'm Mercedes, but you're not. Well, I wasn't a good wrestler. Okay, I'll give you that. I was not a Mercedes wrestler. But I was Mercedes at things I did. Nobody on the planet is devoid of Michael Jordan greatness. Now, you might not be getting a TV show about your greatness. Okay, it might be very subtle. You might be the most compassionate father in the top 10%. You might be, it doesn't have to have a name and a proper sport, but you have wisdom because you have a divine soul, Selim Elikis, right? And you are divine, you have a soul. Therefore, in your playground where you are Michael Jordan, Jeff Gordon, we are that guy that you're lapping 20,000 times and you're throwing your hands up in the air. What are we going to do with you? We are that problem to you. So in this genre of gear, this is where I'm like Michael Jordan. And not just me. Right? There's a type of person who understands the non-Jew and Torah. I can name them. Chaim Korfin, Chaim Richmond, Avram Sutton. There's a whole world of these rabbis out there. Right? They're known in their field. Tovia Singer, Michael Skobach. There's a whole genre of these guys. Okay? And we all kind of know our craft pretty well. Now, Michael Jordan did not know as much as Dennis Rodman in rebounding, correct?
That's right.
But they were both called Michael Jordan, correct?
Well, I mean, right. Rodman was the Jordan of rebounding.
That's right. So they were both on this like Mercedes level of that tier. But they had different skills, and they might not have seen eye to eye on everything they did. That doesn't matter. What we're saying is, don't come and tell me that Tony Kukoc was the reason why the Bulls won 6 championships.
He was a part of it, though.
He was definitely a part of it. And the rabbis in this field are a part of it. And we rely on them. But don't tell me Tony Kukoc is the one that did it. Right? Don't tell me Dale Earnhardt Jr. is as good as Dale Earnhardt Sr. It's not true.
Right.
So understanding what that upper echelon is in the genre. My Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Weingart, was in the upper echelon of Rosh Yeshivas. He had the wisdom. Sholem Rav in Sfat in the 2000s was just an awesome place. Right? There are some men built and made to be Rosh Yeshivas. Some are not. He was one. Now you'll say, oh, my Rosh Yeshiva, were you saying he wasn't? I might be saying he wasn't. He may have been a very great Rav, though. I wouldn't call Rav Weingart a great Rav. He didn't want to be. He wasn't going to poskin law for you. He was a Rebbe and a father figure in a Rosh Yeshiva. What a Rosh Yeshiva is supposed to be. Ari Lewis is not going to sing and dance for you, but he will give you a great radio show. So don't ask him to sing and dance. You know, so or, you know,
Have
Ari,
you seen my videos where I've sung? Is that where this is coming from?
Or, you know, don't yell at Ari. You know, why don't you, give a radio show like such and such? Because that's not what the Ari Lewis show's about.
Right.
So the Ger movement is a very specific, I hate to use this word a billion times, but it's coming out, genre. And I am in that genre. And there's a lot of people not in that genre. And I'll tell you what I don't do every day. I don't tell Lubavitchers how to be Lubavitchers. I don't tell Breslovers how to be Breslovers, and so forth and so on. What we're saying is get the message out. The genre is available for everybody. We're not taking and saying, well, we have it, you don't. We're saying it's clear that you don't because you're saying the Rambam said what you didn't say. You're more than welcome and invited to get on board, talk to these people. They want to hear from you. It's not that I do or don't want you a part of this. They want you a part of it. Therefore, I can't say no. I don't have my job doesn't let me say this is for Rabbi Katz and nobody else. My job dictates that I have to get rabbis in charge, or my people are going to be like, okay, another day with Rabbi Katz. Okay, at least we got Rabbi Katz, but why is there nobody else? And I'm saying, I don't know. We got to get the wisdom out to get people involved.
Well, do you think as the gay movement becomes more and more popular, more and more mainstream, that there will be people that will reluctantly accept it?
You know the obvious analogy I'm going to draw for you.
What's that?
The Hasidim and the Litvaks.
Oh, right.
This is just one of those. You know, once you realize what ger is, it's really awesome. I mean, you've seen it very close now for the past couple of years. Have you had one negative experience being an outsider who's come on to where my audience really appreciates you and your show?
Not one. Everyone's been very positive and very nice to me. I really appreciate it.
You've not had one bad experience with these non-Jews?
No. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Eric. I hope he's listening. He gave a very nice donation. We're going to get a new microphone soon. I mean, that's a prime example. I have that happen a lot, that people are sending me donations because they like the work we're doing.
Are they trying to convert you to Jesus?
No.
Are they trying to get you into Christian causes covertly?
No.
Do they represent...
If they are, they're doing a very bad job of it.
Do they represent God's Torah in a true light?
I think so.
Are they spamming your wall and your life and things like that?
No.
Has it been a pleasurable experience working with ger in your capacity?
Absolutely.
Would you recommend it to fellow Orthodox Jews in Israel and around the world that this is a worthy cause to be a part of, to do as much as you can or are meant to do?
If that's something they want to do, yeah. You know, kind of like you were saying, I wouldn't force anyone's hand, but people should look into it.
Right. And remember, I'll pay you that $20 to give this plug for this.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio, joined by Rabbi David Katz. So I guess one of the things I think people might want to know in regards to this whole movement is a particular goal, you know, like a certain number to reach. Is that at all on your mind?
The goal is Ari Lewis. I'm not joking. I mean, Ari, the beautiful thing is I literally have not had to twist your arm a drop.
Right.
Like, off the record, people, I have no vested interest in Ari or his show in that I'm making him give... The message works because Ari sees the message. And that is as true as it goes. My goal is to bring as many Aris to the world as possible. My friend Phil in Cleveland, who built the Cleveland Chabad House, he's an old friend of mine, and after Shabbos, his wife said, "David, I don't know what you did to Phil, but he never brings the Talmud upstairs to learn before bed. What did you do to him?" And then in Shul that Shabbos, Phil was giving me 20 chidushim about ger, and Phil had no idea what it was before I got to his house on this last trip. So there's an infinite amount of Ari and Phil. And just to think of all my friends I've met on the trips, Rav Moshe Soloveitchik, who I'm translating his father's work on ger, there's a billion Ari Lewis potential out there. Barney of Jayab, Rav Ghazi of Ashul, just names popping in my head from my trip. Brian Opert, the rabbi of ger in South Africa, Cape Town, and his wife and family and friends and contacts. It's everywhere. They just... Ari, you know as well as I do, if you wouldn't have met me, would you really know the word ger? Probably not.
No, doubt it.
So, what does Ari get out of it? Nothing. Not really. It's not his thing. He's not doing a ger radio show. But, is it a little bit of light of goodness in his life when he hears from an Eric or a Mauricio or, another adventure of Rabbi Katz? It's not a waste of his time.
No, I enjoy it. It's very nice they write to me, and it's nice. I love that they're into the show.
That's it. So that energy, that good vibe is what happens at every conference. Everyone I talk to that gets gear, it's just a little drop of goodness in your life that wouldn't have been there otherwise. If you can bring, as happy as you are, Ari, right now, and you're not ecstatic, no one's lying here, but just at the level of simcha that it brings you, imagine if that was in every Jew, just as a side item. At least I got this little gear thing going on. I do a little bit of it. Would that not elevate consciousness in the world?
I think it would.
That's it. I'm not saying you need to give your whole radio show to Ger. It's a cherry on top. Okay, you do your thing, then we get together once a week, talk a little bit about it. It wasn't a waste of time. I know how happy people are to hear the show, but every Jew in the world can incorporate this little niche into their life, and they could literally bring Mashiach. It's that powerful. It's subtle, but it's very powerful.
Well, maybe the way to look at it is not that, it's not a waste of time, to look at it as it's something, a necessity.
It is. But you can't tell someone that. The Talmud says, why do you get drunk on Purim? Because there was a Maisa in the Talmud, they put a drink before, I forget who it was, the Ani, the poor guy, and he drank it. And he said, I didn't know I was thirsty until you put a drink in front of me to drink it. You don't know that you're hungry for this until you taste it. It's like the manna. You don't know. And it sounds like, why would I want these non-Jews in my life? Why? That's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't say, Dafka, hey, we need this in our lives. But it's one of those things. Remember the first time you ever tried sushi? It's like, why would I want that? Oh, that's why.
Right.
But you're not eating everyday sushi. Not like for meals. You just don't. Sushi is so common now. It's like, hey, you know what? It's been a little while. They'll have some sushi.
Well, it's kind of like when the iPod, as we talked about, before it was invented, people didn't realize, I need an iPod. iPod comes out, like, oh, yeah, I didn't need that.
I know. I felt so stupid. My brother showed up in 2002 or 3 to the yeshiva to visit me. And he had this thing. I said, Ben, what's that? He says, Dave, and Ben always had, like, the new things back then. He's like, it's an iPod. What's that? He says, well, you put all your music on it. Why? Dude, I got a CD player in my dorm room downstairs with like 20 CDs. And so then when I don't know why it clicked. Just one day it clicked. I didn't understand why would I want all my music collection in one thing. It doesn't make sense. But then like walking in spot between here and there, it's like, yeah, I can literally listen to my favorite song like on play. I got the wisdom. And then like you said, like, who can live without it? And I'll tell you the most profound of this. All right, do you think I'm being a little bit, what's that, hyperbole here when I say this is the essence of this thing that I'm about to say?
Well, I don't know. I need to know what you're going to say.
Well, I'm saying I'm about to tell you of this little analogy of the iPod, whatever. I'm going to tell you the most profound version of that. Do you believe that? Could it be that I will really tell you the most profound thing?
I guess it's possible. I don't know if it's likely.
No,
I don't know.
We are told today, this is Rabbi Chaim Richman's fight. And it is well more noble than my fight will ever be. I'm on record as saying that. This is the fight of all fights. We are wrongly told that we are not allowed to ascend the Temple Mount. It is not true in halacha at all. There are parts that we can't go to. It does not mean you don't go up. So we have a culture that we don't go up. Ask any yeshiva, can I go up? No, we don't go up. So you don't even know what you're missing. You don't even think about it. You're okay with the kaisel. When you go up to the Temple Mount, and you go up there and you see what it is, it's such a refined, sweet revelation that you don't even realize it's a revelation. Then it clicks. And you say, so we are supposed to be up here. But until you get that, you have no use for going on the Temple Mount. It doesn't matter. The only other comparable time I ever had that was when I was married. We had Sukkot by the in-laws. So I never had Yom Tov Rishon of Sukkot in my own sukkah until I finally got my own sukkah. So when I the year that I got it, it was raining. So the kid, it was schwach. The kids were in sleep, and it was not raining, but enough that it wasn't. It was like, I went out with my stender, and I'm in the sukkah alone, staring at a white canvas. Is that exciting to you, Ari? No.
Probably not.
But it just hit me. All of a sudden, you got like the weird fluorescent light bulb, you know how it is in the sukkah, right? And it's like, whoa. So this is sukkahs. I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, it hit me. It just dawned on me. How can I not have had that in my life? But you would never have known until you do it. So there's a lot of these little things. A lot of them. Ger is my personal one of those. I'll tell you another one. Having a sharp knife in the kitchen for making salad as opposed to a dodgy knife. You're like, why won't this tomato cut? Man, it's horrible. Then you get a sharp knife, it's like, wow, whoosh, whoosh, like a samurai in the kitchen, right? Then it's like, I found this in Cape Town on my trip. I had to, it was go, 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 go. Wake up, hurry up, we gotta go. So I didn't have time to shower one morning. I was like, okay. So I washed my face. And I've never washed my face before, like outside of a shower. And I washed my face. Remember, it was summertime in Cape Town when it was winter in Israel. So it's like, all of a sudden, it's middle of summer, right? Hey, wash my face. And it was like, bing, like turn on button. Hey, how's it going? Now I wash my face every morning regardless. There's all kinds of things that you don't do that if you knew how good they were, you would do them. But they're from wisdom, and you have to discover them. Ger is one of those great things. It's just one of those things. And it's not only ger. There's just a lot of cool things that you can do that is free goodness, just pure goodness. And that's really, I think, my personal message for everybody is just start looking for those goodness things that you can do to make your life better, a little happier, a little easier to live, worth living for, and changing the world, elevating consciousness, and ushering in the Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira v'yameinu.
Amen. Well said. Another episode here of the Messiah Hour on Israel Sports News Radio. My guest has been Rabbi David Katz. And Rabbi, please tell everyone out there where they can get some copies of your books.
So for now on, it's just easiest to go to Amazon.com. Type in the search bar Soul Mazel, Soulmazal, or The World of the Ger. Or if you want to do it in Spanish, I forget how to say it. El Mundo de Guyer or something like that.
Okay. You would know better than me.
Yeah, I saw the picture of the book. I forget what it was. And more books to come. Stay tuned. Ger Conference in Texas, Waco, August 18. Look for us on Facebook for those details. Anybody that wants a Ger Conference to come to your town, let us know. Write to me or Ari. For those of you that pay Ari's flight out, he would appreciate that. We want to see him.
I'm not leaving Israel. We talked about that, remember?
Pay for first class, people. He'll come. He will come. Put him on first class. And double that, because I want to sit next to Ari in first class too, to make sure he's okay, and that all is well with Ari.
Right, sure. That's why you would sit in first class, just to make sure I'm okay.
That's the only reason. I'm here for you, Ari Lewis.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would consider it, but I haven't left Israel in almost 7 years this summer. Very proud of that.
Yeah, right. I hadn't left before my trip. I hadn't left in a long time. So let's you know what? Let's save the world. Called Free Ari Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. He's held in Israel. We want to, if we want to bring Mashiach and let Ari Lewis be the radio show that goes worldwide at the Ger conferences, making it happen. So get involved. Do what you got to do. Plug in where you got to plug into. Reach out to my email if you want. It's soulmazel@gmail.com. Or you can write to Ari. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can write to me here at the program, messiahhour@gmail.com, or the email the station, Israel Sports News Radio @gmail.com.
All right. That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, Rabbi, thank you for coming on the program. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening. Be well. And, of course, God bless from Israel, and shalom from Israel as well.